Entrepreneurial Edge is brought to you by Business Banking from FNB, because small ideas can lead to big business. FNB, how can we help you?
Hello and welcome to the Entrepreneurial Edge. I'm Natascha Jacobsz. Now, Pharma Dynamics is one of the leading distributors of generic medication in South Africa and on the continent. The privately owned pharmaceutical company was founded in January 2001 by Managing Director Paul Anley, who joins me in studio today. But before we chat to him, let's take a look at this short clip.
Pharma Dynamics is the brainchild of founder and CEO Paul Anley, who started the company in September 2001. At the moment, we have one of the largest ranges of cardiovascular medicine in South Africa. We also have quite a growing range of products that work on the central nervous system, an established over-the-counter range, and then also we've launched our first female healthcare product now, so we are expanding into new treatment categories now as well. Since launch, we've grown year on year about 30 to 40%, and at this point in time, we're the 6th largest generic pharmaceutical company in South Africa. Our head office is based in Turkey, Cape Town, and we have regional sales offices throughout the country, in Gauteng and Johannesburg. We've got in Bloemfontein, Durban, Eastern Cape, and then also in Namibia. And we at the moment have about 100 employees. Most of them are in the sales department due to the nature of our business. We have an established and a growing regulatory department, very strong marketing department, and then obviously supporting financial department as well. We recently launched our export division into Africa with our first products being sent to Zambia. Those are mostly products in cardiovascular medicine, allergies, antibiotics and cold and flu medicine, and we hope to expand the export into Africa quite soon in the coming months into Mozambique, Angola and a number of other countries as well.
Paul Anley, founder of Pharma Dynamics, welcome.
Thank you very much, Natascha.
Now, today you sit at the helm of one of the fastest growing pharmaceutical companies in South Africa, and I would say Africa as well. But take us back to those early days. Where did your entrepreneurial story start?
Well, I think it started probably when I was only 8 or 9 years old, when I was working in my dad's retail pharmacy. After school, I did a Bachelor of Pharmacy degree at Rhodes University, and after a short stint in retail, went and did a MBA at UCT and got my first real taste of a business as the marketing manager of the Link Pharmacy Group.
Now, you've always worked in the pharmaceutical industry for various companies like Pfizer. So with all of that, having that sustainable career, why venture off on your own and start Pharma Dynamics?
Well, I always wanted to start my own business, but never really found the opportunity to do that. I founded a generics business called Park Med for Warner Lambert back in 1993 and built it into a very substantial business, but of course not for myself. In 2000, Pfizer bought out Warner Lambert in a global takeover, and I think that gave me the opportunity then of starting out again, but that time on my own account.
Now, starting up a business is never easy. Let's start with the basics. How did you get the capital to start the company?
Well, I was quite fortunate in that I was granted share options by Warner Lambert, which I sold back in 2000 when Pfizer was taking over Warner. Those, of course, were in dollars, and the dollar had strengthened somewhat. So I guess Pfizer gave me a little helping hand in starting up my own generic company. But then, of course, we also had to dip into our savings. We took a bond on our house, So financing was indeed tough.
So a bit of risky, but it paid off in the end.
Yes, it did.
Now, apart from capital, what were some of those challenges in the early days?
Well, I guess registration of our pharmaceutical products was a real constraint. Back then, it was taking between 2 and 2.5 years to register a new drug.
Because South Africa has quite a tight hold on the medical and the pharmaceutical industry.
Yes, it does. It's a very regulated industry, and in order to take a pharmaceutical product to market, it has to be registered with the MCC. And of course, for a startup business, your rate of registration is absolutely critical, because without registration, you've got nothing to sell.
Now, how small, shall I say, was the company when it started, and how has it grown over the years?
Well, we started with only nine people. 6 of those were in sales. We had a single product, which we grew over the next 10 years. We now have between 30 and 40 products. We have a pipeline of over 200 products. So we've been busy securing our future.
Now, you guys operate in the generic pharmaceutical space. Some would say very well placed if you look at the high cost of medicine today. How important is being affordable and accessible to you as a company?
That's who we are. There is such enormous demands for cheaper medication, and without generics, healthcare would become unaffordable. So I think that generics play an enormous role in maintaining affordability, and the public can be reassured about the quality of them because the market is so well regulated.
Now, besides operating in South Africa, you also export to the rest of the continent. What are some of the biggest health challenges in Africa, and how have you positioned yourself to alleviate some of the medical symptoms?
Well, we've only just started expanding into Africa. We have a very strong business in Namibia. We're starting up in Botswana. We've just taken our first orders in Zambia. But once again, registration of new drugs is the biggest hold up.
Do you have to register the pharmaceuticals in every territory you move into?
Yes, they do. But often having a South African registration gives you a shortcut to the market, but nevertheless they still do have to be registered.
What are some of the biggest health constraints? Is it still malaria?
Malaria is a issue, TB of course, but as the markets are westernizing, so too are the lifestyle conditions, cardiovascular, diabetes.
Do you operate in the antiretroviral space at all?
We don't have antiretrovirals, but our major shareholder is one of the leading anti-tuberculosis companies, and I'm sure you are aware that TB and HIV are
linked,
interrelated.
hand in hand.
Correct.
Now, you're just exporting into Africa. Is there any other plans to export to Europe, maybe South Americas? I know you have a shareholder in Australia. Any plans for that in the future?
Well, we want to expand our position in South Africa and Africa first. Our market share in South Africa is probably only about 5%. We've got an enormous job still to do here.
Who's your biggest competitor this side?
Our biggest competitor would be Aspen Pharmacare in terms of generics, but we are mostly eyeing the originator medicines as they come off patent. So I guess our major competitors would be the originator pharmaceutical companies.
All right, Paul, let's leave it right there for now.